Patrick Reed, even par 70. Patrick, different conditions out there today, but you must feel good about the golf you played and where you stand heading into the weekend.
Yeah, anytime you play in the U.S. Open, you know that you're going to have one of those days that things just aren't quite going your way. You're not quite hit either, whether it's hitting quality golf shots or anything like that. And I felt like today was that day. I felt like I left a decent amount of shots out there. I feel like I was a little loose with some shots off tee and also irons. And to be able to feel like that and come out and shoot even par around a day like today, it's definitely a positive, and it makes you feel good going on the weekend.
Where's your confidence?
I feel good. I mean, I feel ready to go out and put myself in position hopefully tomorrow to have a chance late on Sunday. But I think that's the biggest thing is. I mean, I feel like the game's where it needs to be. I feel good. I just need to tighten a few things up here or there. But the short game's sharp, and when you play around a place like this, that's what you need.
Rex?
Can you talk about just the idea of where you're at based on how many fairways you've hit and how you've been able to do that?
Yeah, the past month and a half, I've actually been hitting the driver really well. It hit a lot of fairways, and yesterday I felt like I hit a lot of quality tee shots that ended up just barely in the rough or just barely in the first cut, so they weren't really that bad. Today there was a little bit more looseness off the tee, but I felt like I put myself in the right spots to be able to either get it on the green or get close to the green where I had a good opportunity to get up and down for par. And I think that's the biggest thing is this golf course, even if you miss fairways, you got to miss it in the right spots. There's a lot better spots on the left side compared to right side or vice versa, depending on hole, depending on pin placement. And I feel like I've done that pretty well and am still able to kind of attack the golf course.
I was actually going to ask because Josh mentioned that you've made some strides off the tee over the past month and a half. What did you work on specifically to improve that?
I think the biggest thing for me is just, try to keep the backswing a little shorter and not try to get too quick with it. Everyone likes to hit the driver hard, but at the same time, around here, I'd give up 50 yards just hit the ball in the fairway.
I'm not keeping a running tally, but it seems like you're using that cut swing more often this week. Is that a strategy?
Yeah, it kind of, I use the cut out here just when the hole kind of requires it. There's some of these holes, especially with how firm the fairways are right now, that if it's dogleg left or dogleg right, if you get it actually working away from the hole, you're shortening your fairway by a ton. So, on some of those holes, those dogleg rights, I feel like if I fade, I'm riding with the fairway and the ball is not going to have a chance to kind of bounce and bound through. Or if I draw it on those holes, if it lands on left center fairway, it's going to go through most of the time.
What was the origin of that swing? I remember obviously at Augusta you used it a lot, but had you used that previously in your career?
No. Really, when I was on the range one day, I was trying to figure out, okay, how is it that I can hit a cut? I wouldn't really say properly because it's not really properly. Try to hit a cut where it's a little bit more consistent. Being a drawer golf ball, every time I feel like I try to make a cut, I kind of wipe it and kind of drop the shoulder. And so then my coach at the time, he was like, hey, why don't we try to hit a cut? What do you do when you're like in the trees? You always seem to be able to manage hitting out of the trees and cutting it around everything. You're usually really good at it. So what's the difference? I was like, oh, well, I kind of do this. He's like, well, do that with a driver. And so on the range, I did it a couple times, hit pretty good ones, and we took film of it, and actually my body moves a little better that way. And
what is it that you're doing?
I kind of stay more level on it. I don't kind of drop that shoulder and kind of wipe it. And, I'm able to kind of feel like I make the same golf swing as I do with the draw, just kind of changing the face angle. And, because of that, it seemed to work. And, putting it into play the past two times, and, the first two times would have been Valspar, which I hit some quality shots off the tee there. Down the stretch, and then at Augusta when I won. So if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Back to the Cisco WebEx. Why do you think this kind of test suits you?
I think the biggest thing is just because I love the grind. I love getting in there. I love when it's hard, when you have to be creative on all different golf shots. I mean, kind of like today on one, a lot of guys just normally, and even me, I would have just kind of hit a normal 9-iron there, but because of how slopey the green is, I was like, oh, well, why don't I just try to kind of chippy, kind of draw an 8-iron and try to bounce it up there and kind of using my eyes and be more creative rather than just sit there and aim and shoot.
Ryan?
I haven't checked the leaderboard in a couple minutes, but I think you're playing with Bryson potentially tomorrow. What are your thoughts on that pairing? I know you guys have gotten closer the last couple of years.
It's going to be good. I mean, I look forward to playing with him. I always enjoy playing with Bryson. It's just kind of one of those things that we go out there and I think around here it's not really as much on who you're playing with because you're out there attacking the golf course. This golf course, you have to think about every little thing off of tee shots, iron shots, putts, everything. So you don't really hang out with the guys you're playing with as much because you're too busy trying to figure out where you're trying to play this golf course and kind of put it together like a puzzle. And I think that's the thing about the U.S. Open. There's not as much talking going on in the U.S. Open as there is other golf tournaments because it's a premium on every single golf shot because you let up once and you're gonna make a mess of the golf course.
How would you compare your style of play to Bryson right now? You were talking the other day about how you've been hitting these bullets down the fairway with your driver, and he's just hitting moonshots. In general, how does your play compare?
It's completely different.
Yeah.
You know, he sends it to the moon, and I hit it underneath the trees. He hits it over the trees. I played a practice round with him, and we were on number 8. And there's a tree on the right that I'm kind of cutting around, and I could cover it, but I mean, I'm not really trying to take that tree on. I'm gonna play it left of it and kind of peel it around it. Well, he wasn't even looking at that tree. There's a tree right of that's even closer to tee box that he cleared by 20 feet. I mean, the height he's hitting the ball is it's vertical. And really around a place like this, you get downwind, that ball's just never gonna come down. It's just keep going. And the speed he's producing, and you're gonna have to hit the ball higher. Yeah, swinging that hard and having that much speed, it's kind of gonna probably be hard to hit it low. If he tried to hit a driver the height I hit my drivers, it'd probably kill half his speed. His speed would be down because he'd have to kind of get on top of it. But it just shows there's so many different ways to play a golf course. There's so many different ways to play a game of golf, and he's kind of showing one way, and I show another, and everyone's different.
Should be fun.
Thanks, Patrick.
Yep.